Hey guys, welcome back to Friday night Vega stories. Yeah, there's a few. We got them in the book here, some cheat notes. But first, let's imagine you guys wanting to crack what you're going to crack open: beer, wine, cooler, coffee, something. Uh, since last Friday, I did get into another one of these mini bottles. I drank the whole thing, but I only drank half of this dark rum stuff. Yeah, it's still 43%, but it's the darker one. Let's just try this. I had it last couple days, maybe 4 days ago, and it was good. So I'm gonna put. Well, it's almost gone there now. I'll just keep it right there. I got the stone in there and all that. Now I'm working off of my Shure microphone plugged into the iPhone. That's what I use when I do my songs and stuff, and it works really good. So now I got it set up for speech mode. Hopefully, I did test it and it sounded okay in speech mode. So it's just funny that these have an indicator on the bottom. They'll start blinking red when they're low. Now, one of them, which is this guy here, I've had it on charge for a while out there, and it still blinks red. Now I got the other one, it came with two, with the fuzzy piece on it. I've got that charge in there now, but we'll just run with the Shure microphone tonight. That's what we'll do. We'll take a sip of this, and take a sip of your drink. I'm still in my pickleball outfit here. I didn't really, there was no sweating doing that, but I mean, if you want something to bring your cardio up, oh my God, doing that pickleball, that'll get your ass running all over the court, this way and that way, side to side, back to back, front to back, I mean, all over the place. So we played from, well, on Wednesdays, Barb comes with me, her sister and her husband, they go on Wednesday afternoon. But I'm the only one that goes Friday afternoon. So it starts at 12:30, and it goes till 2:45. And if you buy the $10 punch card, it only works out to $2.50 for a session for that whole time. $2.50. If you were to pay, just come off the street and I just want to pay, it would be $3.50 or something like that. So $25 for 10 sessions. So that's pretty good. You can't get nothing that cheap. And that's at North Woodside Community Center. That's where that is. Good people there, and today they take a maximum of 10 pickleball players for that session, and you just make up teams. You just keep switching off, and then you sit out and watch the other four play. We got the Amazon paddles, which are really light. We got those, and they work great. So today, yeah, it's sort of like you call in the night before. So you got to call in at 6 o'clock the night before. So you have Tuesday you call in for your Wednesday, and then Thursday night you call in for your Friday. And if you don't receive a call back to yourself from them, then you know you're in. So you would receive a call probably by 7 or 8 o'clock. It would tell you that, no, I'm sorry, we're full. So, but I got in again today, and I was there with nine women, and I tell you, some of them have playing for 2 years, some more, and they're good. They're serving, man. You got to be on your game. You got to be position yourself right for when, because you kind of get used to knowing which one, and how she's going to serve. Is she going to go deep into the court, or is she go like midway? So you got to position yourself if you're going to hit that ball back. So it's a good game though. I like it. I've only been there 5 times, but man, it's a good cardio because I do walking, a lot of walking, but I don't get the cardio like that. It's good. So let's get on to it. Have a drink, and like I say, I think most people that are watching this Friday night series have seen the last 2. You kind of have to see, if you're starting to watch this and you haven't watched the last one or the one before, just go back and grab those and watch them because it's all chronological order, right? With as this Vega is evolving. So I did some cheat notes here. Yeah. So the first one, this is good. Okay. So the first one is, it's a winter's day. I'm sitting in the living room at 80 Woodland Avenue. And I'll show you, I have the picture from the exact day when this happened, right here. So it's still got the 4-cylinder in it. It's red, candy apple red with a black stripe in the Corvette style hood scoop from the 60s. So it's sitting there, as you can see, the snow and whatnot. Let me turn this light on. Yeah, just get a little more light on the subject here. Yeah, you'll see the snow out there. So that's basically looking out our front living room window. And I took a picture of the car. I drove it in the winter. I mean, just going back and forth to school. I wasn't cruising around at night or nothing. It was just to get me to school. And, yeah. So that was it. And what happened, I was sitting there. I'm not sure if my sister was there or what, but possibly my nephew Dave might have been there. He was just a kid at the time. Maybe he would have been 4 years old, going on 5 or something. I don't know. Anyway, all of a sudden, bang! Holy jeez, what's that? Because I wasn't looking out at the time, and I turned around, and didn't a truck slam into it? A big red Dodge truck. And by researching from the photo, I found out it was 1977 Dodge pickup, big heavy truck. So he was, if you're looking out our front window, he was next door in the triplex, sort of like it's a house, but it was 3 different levels, and they rented that out as apartments. So once he just slammed into it and then drove away, basically. And you can't tell me, he must have felt it, because he pushed the driver's side bumper right friggin' in and crushed my friggin' fender, and I thought, well, I didn't get the plate as he drove away, but I seen the truck around before, and I didn't know who it was. But guess what? I found out it was the chief of police, Roger Smith, at the time, of the Dartmouth Police Force. It was his son. It was his son. Now, at that time, I don't believe I knew Chris Smith at that time. Or he wasn't coming around then. He was a little bit, maybe a year later, that I got to know him. And his family, they just lived down in Ryland, just down on the right, about midway. And anyway, I ended up calling the police, and of course they didn't deny it and everything like that. And Roger Smith, being an upstanding man he was, he owned up to it, and his son said, yeah, he did it, and they went good for the repairs, and so they gave me a big chunk of money. I can't remember how much it was, but it was enough to buy a brand new fender. Yeah. Brand new fender and a bumper and the front valance. I think the grill got cracked too. So a lot of the parts, I just had the money, so a lot of the parts I got were good used ones from the scrapyard that were in fine shape, you know. And so I ended up putting fiberglass fenders on it. I thought, well, on the top front edge they had a bit of rust on it, and I had body filled it, but it kept, you know, it'll bubble through after a while. So I thought, what the heck, I'll get 2 fiberglass front fenders, a new grill, new front valance, and a bumper, and that'll be great. I'll, you know, it'll make the front end lighter. At that point, that didn't really matter, but when the V8 came into play, that did matter, because you want to have all the weight saving you can get, because you're adding that big heavy V8 instead of that little 4-banger in there. So that's tasting good. That dark stuff is not bad. Let's just finish it, because no sense leaving that little bit in there, right? No. There. It's pretty good. I made this gift last, you know, this long. Well, it's January, but yeah, it's cool. Okay, now let's what do we got now, guys? Something else. So they went good for that. Oh, I'm going to show you a picture of the truck. I actually have it. And the funny thing is, 2 years later, didn't the chief of police, because I got to know Chris Smith and his father, Alistair, his brother, Alistair, his mother, Betty, and the daughter, Elizabeth, and I got to know them all, and you know, they let me use the garage. We'll get into that later on. They had a garage, and we didn't. A great family, though. So what happened? Roger Smith had some the same truck that smacked the Vega. He had some rust appearing on the back fender lips, and he knew I could do the work, fix up the rust, and get some color match for it, and blend it in and make it look half decent. He didn't want to go to a body shop and pay hundreds. He just gave me like $80, which was a lot of money back in the 70s. Gave me $80 and said he'd buy the materials and all that stuff. So if you look here behind the Vega, as you know, this is a couple years later because the Vega has changed. It's in its last rendition here, but you can see that red truck right there. So I had it in there to do the body work that day. Yeah, fix it up. Yeah, and it went well. So that was cool. That's that one. Now, so where are we going with this one now? Oh, yeah. I'll show you. I had 2 of these Vega books, and I believe like I told you before, I got them from, I think it was Kohl's. I think Kohl's was around in Micmac or somewhere, and I got these books before. Of course, I got the kit to put the V8 in, yeah. So it shows you the this particular one here they're showing is a station wagon. It's a by the looks of it, the bumper's in close. That's a 1972 Vega or 71. 71, 72 had the bumper close to the body. 73 they had to bring the bumper out probably about 3 inches and put a little filler panel in on each side of the grill. But I learned a lot in this one. I'll show you the kit here. There's some factory pictures of the Vegas. They had a Stinger model. Don Yanko used to do up Camaros. He used to do Camaros up, and he also, I guess, did some Vegas up. But I believe he did performance work on the 4-cylinder. There was other companies that actually put V8s in. They were called Baldwin Motion. Yeah. They also had a version of the Vega called the Cosworth. Later came out, I believe, in 76 or 75, and it was a dual overhead cam. It was quite an exotic engine. But I'll show you the kit here. First I'll show you. Here's what got me. You see them tilting the V8 motor, small block. They're tilting that, getting ready to go into the engine bay, and then there it is sitting in the engine bay there. That's the firewall back here, and then the fan up front there. Well, you had to change the springs too in the front. I had to put heavy duty springs in the front. I believe they were Monza springs. It was the Monza wasn't even out then. They were just heavy duty springs. Yeah, it shows a few things. You got to cut the transmission tunnel out, and that's a really fast one. That was a drag strip Vega, mostly fiberglass. That one. What else? Yeah, there's another good picture of it right there. Wild machine. And of course the famous Grumpy's Toy. I did a model of this, and that's yeah, that's awesome. Bill Jenkins, that was his ride on the drag strip. Let's see. It's gonna show the kit here somewhere. I know it is. I know it's in this book. This is a bunch of tuning and carburetor on the stock motor, all that. But if we get deeper into the book, somewhere here, that's still the 4-cylinder. Still the 4-cylinder. It's gotta be here somewhere. Yeah. Oh yeah, spoilers, yeah. I bought a spoiler for the back deck lid. Yeah. Here should be. She had disc brakes up front, and there's one with a cut bumper there on it. She had disc brakes up front and drums in the back. So the kit that I got was called, if I can find it here, it's here somewhere. Well, this is just to show you this one. This is a sharp one here, black and silver one. That's where I got the idea to put Z28 emblems on it right there. This guy had them. That's where I got that idea. But where the heck is that kit? There's another Vega with a mural on it. Pretty sharp. Yeah. That had a V8 in it too. I'll get through it. I'll find it. It's here because I looked at it the other day. I looked at it the other day and it was in here. Showed the headers. There it is. There it is right there. So there's the kit I got. And as you can see, this kit, you got the headers, and you got the motor mounts, you got the transmission cross piece, you got your collectors on the back of the headers there to hook up the pipes, you got all the gaskets, yeah, you got a bracket for the alternator. You only had to you just had to extend that rad and put a 3-core rad in it, and then you're good to go. It's almost getting down. I gotta go for the Guinness soon. I got my father's mug in there chilling up in the fridge, so I'm gonna go for that in a second. Let's see what we got now. Oh yeah. Okay, showed the book, V8 kit. Okay, so at that point, of course, I was working down at the Texaco station, thanks to my mom, because she bugged Gary Monette every time they went in for gas in the Nova. They said, "Sure you don't want someone to pump gas? Sure you don't need anybody?" And every time they went in for gas, Mom would ask him. And after 3 months, he just gave up and said, "Send them down." So she sent me down, and I started. I loved that job. I liked it a lot more than the grocery store, I'll tell you that much. Being around cars and stuff like that, it's great. So what happened, there was I'd say a young fella, because to me he was an older guy, but now he be considered a young fellow. I would guess he would be about, he was probably 24, 26. He came down from Ontario, Toronto. He must have knew Gary up there when they were rebuilding engines, the place they were at or something. Anyway, he came down and he said he'd work for Gary because Gary needed mechanics, so he'd work for him for 6 months, I think, and then he was planning on going back or something. Anyway, he comes down and he drives all the way down from Ontario, and he's in a 1964 Pontiac Parisienne convertible. And it was a three-speed manual. Had a it had a 283 small block Chevy in it, and he worked there. You know, it might have been only 3 months. Maybe it was only 3 months. Anyways, he kept asking me. He said, "I'm going back to Toronto soon, so would you want to buy my car?" And I thought, well, yeah, I would take the V8 out of it and want to put it in the Vega. He was thinking, no, you shouldn't do that. You should keep that car. It's going to be worth something someday. I said, nah, I don't need to do that. Anyway, so I gave him, before he left, I gave him $250. Now, this picture's not that shit hot. I took this picture at night with a little crappy camera, but you can see it there. You can see the Parkland School in the background, because the graduates here in the Parkland, the old Parkland School was right there as you know, passing it going down the hill to where the Alderney Ferry is now. That's, of course, is all gone now, but you can see a bit of the Pontiac. Not very well. I'll show you what it looked like. Side on with the roof down. I just got a picture off the internet. It would have looked like this. Quite a long car. Quite a long car. 64 Pontiac Parisienne. Now I got another picture. I got one of the magazines I just got recently. And this is a Catalina. But Catalina, Pontiac, Parisienne would have been the Canadian version, and Catalina would have been the American version, as I'm told. This is a 2+2 version, a little bit more high-end scale, but the look is basically the same. I could have been driving around something like that if I restored it, right? Because it was gold and it had a nice goldish type interior, like a nice high-end vinyl gold interior. It would have been a nice ride if I had kept it. I can tell you that from looking up specs and all this stuff on the internet, that the 1964 some came with Power Glide, 2-speed Power Glide automatics. Some were 4 speeds, but this one was a 3-speed. Some came with 3-speed. So there was, of that model, of that tier, there was 2,600 made. So that's quite low production. So I had one of 2,600. I should have, in retro thinking now, I should have kept it and just found another small block and then put that in the Vega, but I didn't. And they also made the Custom Sport, which was a little more upscale. It would have had a 4-speed, and it would have been equipped with a 327 small block and a very rare 409, a real screamer. But they only made 15 of those, and then 26 of the regular ones like I had. But it was a nice look. It was a nice car. It was decked out really nice. I think the color was called gold wood yellow, from what I'm looking at, and the interior was called gold tone saddle interior. It was quite a sharp car, but you know, here's another picture of one in white, Mine was gold with a white roof. This is white with a tanned roof. This one. It's another picture. Pretty sharp car. But what can you do? You make a decision back then. You make a decision. Here's another picture of one down in Charlotte, North Carolina, that they're selling. I think they wanted 30 US for this one. You know, and that's the same year, 64. I always thought it was a 63, but looking at the original picture, there's a difference. The 63, there's no like curve in the bumper there. Right there, a bumper on each side. It's more flat. So I was wrong for all these years. I thought it was a 63. No, it was a 64, just like this. Yeah, nice car. But I have to get a Guinness here. I'm getting low. You guys go grab what you need to grab. If you're got to grab another beer, this is the time to do it. I think I might be sharing some Jamesons tomorrow with Bruce. He said he got a bottle of it, so we're gonna have our meeting where we talk about cars and stuff. So why not? I'll bring some Guinness up too. Maybe have a Guinness or two. Let's get a Guinness right now. Pop this back in the fridge, right like this, and grab a Guinness. And my favorite mug here is my dad's mug. Right here. The old Reggie mug. Look at that. Excellent. Let's pour this off. And you don't have to pour it slow. They say the best way to pour this thing is just go like this and just shotgun it. This is how you pour Guinness. Unless you're at a pub and they pour it really slow over in Ireland, but sometimes it can take 2 minutes for them to pour off you a nice big Guinness over there in Ireland. But yeah, go to the last drop. Okay, there we go. Now we're where are we at now? Oh, I like these Friday nights. These are great. Okay. Get print off of Pontiac Parisienne, blah blah blah. Got that, showed you that. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Okay, it's the summertime. Obviously, it's the summertime. And the garage is locked up because it's a Sunday. I'm sure if I asked, Gary would have let me get access to the garage if I needed it, but the car was out there and that's where I planned on pulling the motor out of it anyway, so it was sitting there. Just the exact same spot you see it there, backed in by the fence. So, it was a Sunday, it was quiet, we weren't open. It was, you know, back then, in those days, there was hardly anything open Sunday. Nowadays, you can't find a business that's not open. You know, you should have a day of rest. But now everything's open. So, I'm there working away at it. I got the hood up. I'm digging through, disconnecting spark plug wires, disconnecting the hoses. I got a drain bucket. I'm draining the radiator and, you know, pulling the old rad out of it. I'm not going to use that rad. I don't even think I pulled the rad out. I just drained the fluid because I didn't want that going all over the ground. So I drained that. And I was disconnecting stuff, you know, linkages and crawling underneath it, disconnecting connections to the clutch and all that, and, you know, just getting it prepared that I can just pull it right out. I don't even think I took the tranny out of it. I think I just unbolted the bell housing when I finally did it, and I just hauled the motor out because I didn't care about that 3-speed. I wasn't going to go and try to hook up a extra pedal in the Vega and all that. And I just went for the, you know, I just bought a 400 turbo automatic transmission. One of the heaviest transmissions, the top dog of the day, basically. It was, yeah, it's turbo 400 they call it. was only a 3-speed automatic, but she'd haul. She'd handle the power, no problem. You couldn't break that. Well, there's another story to that, but so I'm there working away, and all of a sudden this car comes in. Guy gets out, walks over, and goes, "Hey, what are you doing?" I said, "I'm taking the motor of this car I bought, and I'm going to stuff it in that Vega over there." That got his attention. And it was, guess who? It was Wayne. Yeah, my old Harley riding buddy. Well, he was riding Harleys way before me. He was riding motorcycles way before me. He had lots of motorcycles. Anyway, I got into the game late. I was 34 when I bought my Sportster. So he rolls up, and guess what he rolls up in? Yeah, that's what I thought. He rolls up in this. It blew my mind, people. It blew my mind. Look at this thing. This is a 1976 Buick Free Spirit, official pace card of Indianapolis, right? It's a replica of one of the ones they use down there at the track. So, this baby here, with the T-roof and all that, they only made, I tell you, this is a rare baby. They only made, from what I can find online, I don't know if this is accurate or not, 1,200 to 1,290, 1,290 of these. And I'm talking, that's all North America. I don't think any of these got shipped overseas or anything like that. This was all North American stuff, right? So, yeah, all North American stuff. And to have, so you consider 1,290, say if it's at the top end. How many went to Canada? Maybe 90, maybe less. I would say less, but you know, how many Chev dealerships are there in each province? Let's say Nova Scotia. Back then, maybe there was, I'd say 5. Maybe 5. I don't know how many there is now. It's probably a lot more, but maybe 5. And then you go across and count all the provinces and stuff. Like maybe it was 100. I don't know, but that's a rare car. Now it was no screamer. It could handle like old hell. It was no screamer because it had a 350 in it, and I believe it was a turbo 400 tranny in it too. But believe it or not, it was all smogged out, so it only had reports. It only had 140 to 165 horsepower. I tell you, when Wayne drove that, he used every friggin' horsepower it had. We'd be going around corners off the on the Woodland Avenue exit, you know, coming up the highway past Micmac, and we'd have to go the loop around back up to Woodland, and he'd have that thing pegged, but that thing would handle around the whole friggin' corner. She wouldn't slide, she wouldn't do nothing, she'd just go. But that was fun. I rode in that car lots of times. Yeah, lots of times with them. Now the one at the track, oh yeah, she was done up. The one at the track that they used down there, yeah, that had a V6 in it. But it was a 3.8 V6. Guess what? The horsepower was 306 horsepower at 4,600 RPM. It had 370 foot-pounds of torque. That's more than this one, more than the Bullet. Bullet's got 324, I believe it is. Yeah, so the one they had at the track had a turbo on it. It had a 20 to 22 PSI boost on the turbo. Now, I did some research on the Free Spirits up here, the States and in Canada. There was a couple for sale in Canada a little while back, but I just recently found one in the U.S. that was in pretty fine shape. I wouldn't say it was mint, but it was in very, very good condition. And the price, 29,000 US. So what's that up here? 40 something? I don't know. 40 something. So that was cool. That was a cool car. There's only one you see in Nova Scotia, I can tell you that. Now, what else we got going on here? That's with Wayne dropped by to see me working on that. Let's see. What else we got going here? Oh, okay. So I would say it was 2 months later, maybe 2 months later, 3 months later, maybe 2. Anyway, I get the motor, and my boss he shows me how to rebuild it. He's working with me. He's building it, but he's saying, okay, do this, put the crank in, put the plastic gauge on the journal of the crank, have your new bearing caps in, put it down, bolt it, torque it to spec, just even, go back and forth, torque it down, then undo it, take the cap off. You have a little measuring, like a little guide. You measure the plastic gauge to see how far it squishes, and if it squishes a certain distance, then you look at your gauge and say, okay, 30 thou or whatever. It's got this much clearance. So you want the right amount of clearance so oil can move around inside the bearings, so it doesn't, you want to have a good life out of that motor. So we did all that, and I think first of all we actually tore the motor right down to nothing, and he said we got to send the block down to Nova Automotive, down on Waddell Avenue, just down off of Windmill Road. You got to do that. I said you have to do that because you got to have it clean. You got to have it cleaned out. It's all, sludged up. It's the original 283 motor in that thing. So that would have been, let's see, 12 years old, and it had over 100,000 miles on it, I believe, or close to it. It might have been in the 90s. I can't remember the exact mileage of the Pontiac, but yeah. So yeah, we had that hot tanked. That's what they call it, hot tanked. They brought the back up, and I think I kept with the same pistons, but we put new piston rings on. Gary honed out the cylinders, honed it out with stones, the 3 stones that go like that, and hone out the cylinders, the 8 cylinders. I don't know if I changed the cam bearings. I don't think I did. But I did get a hot cam. And from what I remember, the lift was 278 and 278 on the exhaust, and on the intake was 4 something, in the low 4s. It was pretty lumpy cam. It was a pretty lumpy cam. I think it was by the company Crane Cams. I think it was a Crane cam. We put that in it. Also, I wanted to have high oil pressure. I didn't want to mess around with I wasn't going to reuse the stock oil pump in it. No, because you got to feed the engine oil or it's going to starve, and then you're going to have problems. So I purchased, back then, I think it was 35 bucks, which was a little bit of coin back in the mid-70s. It was a Z28 oil pump. Because it was they used it on the 302 small block in the Z28, the rally ones, like the RS here, right? Well, not like this motor, but yeah, Z28 oil pump, and man, holy shit, the pressure. Once we got that thing together and lit it up, I had my gauge inside the car, and that sucker. When you first start it up, boom, 80 pounds oil pressure. That damn pump, holy jeez, that was powerful. It was a good one to go with. Because even after it was heating up, and even on a hot summer day, she only went down to maybe 40. She was still 40, and that's high. Most of the cars were, I don't know, if they get that hot, they might be running down in mid-20s or edging on 30 or something. This thing was still kicking 40 after all warmed up and everything. Amazing. So we got that all geared up. Yeah, and that was good. So I think I had the Vega. The Vega was in the backyard. Yeah. I had already taken the little 4-banger out of it and its transmission associated with it. I had cut the transmission tunnel. I cut it all out. Oh my gosh, drop. I cut the transmission. I had cut it out and raised it up by about, I don't know, 2 inches or something like that, because the housing of the 400 was large, you know, and it's wider too, right? And in those days, we didn't have sawzalls and all that shit. I had to drill holes in a line to get enough room to get a hacksaw blade in. You know, going with a hacksaw blade, that's what I'm sure I used. And the Vega metal wasn't super thick, but I mean, I had to cut out a portion. Then I had to get some sheet metal and then drill holes and rivet in and tar it over it, try to seal it and all that stuff. That's what I did. So pretty antiquated way to do it, but I did it. I got it done. So me and Wayne, we were tuning up the engine there in the backyard. So that's me there in the front of the car, over the front, and there's Wayne on the side, and Wayne is adjusting the rockers. Yeah, he's adjusting the rockers to get the right gap in them and stuff like that. And I don't know. I'm probably trying to hold something over the valve cover areas, because we had to take the valve covers off. Probably oil spraying every which way but loose there because of the pressure of that Z28 pump. But that was pretty good. That went okay. But what didn't go okay, we had the Turbo 400 hooked up to the back of it. The new transmission I got from Amco down on Windmill Road, Amco Transmissions. That's not far from Nova Automotive, the engine shop. Just come out that street, make a right, and they're right there. I'm not sure what they call it right now. It is a mechanic's shop, but so let's see now. We before we bolted the tranny up to it, we of course filled up the torque converter with the proper transmission fluid. You got to put some in there, right? Then, I mean, I think the Turbo 400, I can't remember how many quarts it took. 4, 5, 6, I don't know, it took a lot. Anyway, we put the recommended amount in, and in the filler tube and that, and measured it on the stick that it was right when it was warm and stuff like that. But we were busy working on the engine and stuff like that, and we got back to it the next day, and we figured, okay, we got everything sorted on the engine and everything. We buttoned everything up and started the car up, and I put it into drive, and nothing in drive, nothing in second, nothing in first. I might have had reverse a little bit, I don't know. It was like, what the hell's wrong with this fucking thing? I just paid fucking, I don't know, $300 for this transmission or something. I don't know what I paid. A lot of money. $400, a lot of money, and it's not working, man. So I called up Amco first thing, and they said, okay, we'll send a tow truck. We're gonna come pick it up for you. And they come, picked it up, and brought it down to the shop, put it up on the lift, and took the pan off the bottom, and he said it just smoked. All the synchro meshes are all fucking fried to fucking pieces. He goes, what the hell were you doing to this? He said, were you drag racing it? I said, no. I said, we were drag racing it. I said, we didn't get out of the fucking backyard. We didn't, I got a witness. Wayne was there. I said, we didn't even move it. We couldn't move it. I said, it wouldn't move. He goes, never seen anything fried up this bad in my life, he said. He goes, well, so we're going to replace it for you. I said, okay. How long will that take? Oh, probably a couple days. If we rebuild this one, we got to tear it right apart and then put all new parts in. Probably a couple days, leave it with us and check back in a couple days. And I did. I checked back, I don't know, was it Thursday or Friday or whatever. I checked back and I said, yeah, we got her going. We're just buttoning her up now. That's right. He didn't get it going totally. He's just buttoning it up now. We're going to have it, we're going to do a test drive. I said, whoa. I said, that's a new motor. I said, it's a new motor and it's got to be broke in properly, right? And they said, oh yeah, no problem, yeah, okay, come down after lunch. Said, we won't take it out till you get down here. I said, okay, cool. I get down there and they got it back down on the ground and one of the techs, he knew his stuff, I guess, and he goes, well, I want to make sure the transmission is working right. I said, he goes, I'll make sure that thing's shifting right. I said, okay, cool. He said, how about I drive and you're in the passenger seat? I said, okay, that sounds good. I don't know what this Vega will do. I don't know how fast this thing will be. I learned how fast this thing was going to be. So he's a big guy. This guy, I don't know what he came in at. He's not that tall. He wasn't any taller than me. But he's coming in at 230, 240 pounds. Big guy. So he gets in behind the seat of the Vega, and he's real close to the wheel, his stomach sticking out like that. And he goes, okay, we'll just go here, we'll just go up toward, we're going up that way toward we're going under the bridge overpass. And he looks, nothing's coming. I'm sitting there and I'm just like, I said, well, the engine's not broke in yet or anything. He goes, yeah, that's cool. He gets it out onto the road and he just fucking trumps it. And I go, what? Back into the fucking seat like that, and the Vega wheels are just smoking up the road. And it's like a launching. And so we were up to that overpass in friggin' a split second. And I said, well, I told you the engine's not broken. He goes, yeah, but I got to check it out. Holy fuck. That scared the living shit out of me, man. That Vega never went so fast in his life. I was fucking, man, I almost came right out of my chest. My little heart almost ripped right out of my chest onto the dash. Oh, shit. So, I wasn't the first one to drive the Vega. No, it was an Amco transmission tech that ripped her through the gears. And boys, man, we went. That thing was fast. Holy moly. Anyway. We got back to the shop safe and everything like that. Squared everything up. I don't know if I had to pay for fluid or something. I had to pay something. I don't know what it was. It wasn't much. And then I drove it home, and I didn't drive it like he was driving it because I wasn't used to it. I didn't want to throw her into a friggin' lamp pole or anything. So yeah, it's quite exciting. But is that where we finish off? So we're basically right at the start of the Vega having a V8 in it. And then I'm going to, of course, fill this page in over the next week with other things that happened after the V8 was in it. Yeah. But I want to show you this. This is pretty cool. So, at some point, and I believe it was, I think it was actually just before I put the V8 in it, Wayne and I knew a guy down at Standard Transmission. Now that is, if you were to come down Pine Street in Dartmouth, that big hill, and then you stop, and then you go through, and you go down, I don't know if it's called Irish Road or whatever, something like that. Right on the right there, just as you're going down the hill, there was a building there. I think it's still there. That was a standard auto glass place. But they also did, uh, interiors. There was a guy there that do interiors and stuff. So Wayne said, why don't we just see if we can meet up with that guy or something and get him to show us how to do that stuff. And then we can do it maybe. I said, yeah, that's good. So we find out the guy lives out toward, well, past the refineries if you're going out to Eastern Passage. He's past the refineries. And just where you get to a spot, there's an overpass. You go under an overpass, past the refineries, a little ways up. On the right, there was, this was like a little trailer housing, like trailer park housing. That's where the guy lived. Anyway, he showed us how to do the diamond tough interior. So it's not leather, but it's a good quality vinyl, and you get it from the craft, Atlantic Fabrics or whatever it was. I think we got it from the one off Main Street, in behind Main Street, lakefront area there. There was one there. It might still be there. I don't think it is, but we would go there and get it off rolls of it, right? Rolls of the stuff. And we did. Wayne did his 73 Nova. He had a nice dark blue, like almost, I wouldn't say it was a black blue, but it wasn't as dark as a Bronco, but just almost there. Blue Nova with a 350 in it, 4-speed, but he had a vertical gate shifter. I don't know if you know what that is. So instead of having your old H pattern wasting time shifting like this, right, he had a B&M, not BMW, B&M shifter. So it had the shifter and it had a little lever up front. You put your two fingers like that, lift up, you'd haul this back to first. So you're in first. You're pulling away, you're letting out your clutch, you're in first, and you freaking tromp on it, right? And this thing would launch. This little Nova would fucking scream too. And then all of a sudden you shift gear and you slam it forward like that in a second, and you're coming up for third and you slam it back into third. It was all straight, right? And then slam it back for fourth, slam it forward for fourth, and you're just gone, man. There's no wasting time with this. You're not missing any time. So that was pretty cool. He had traction bars on the sucker too, so you wouldn't get the wheel hop. Traction bars, so that did the trick. And that was a wicked little car. He sold that to a guy from Newfoundland later on. But we did the headliner, we did the dash, we did our doors, we did our back piece on the doors. We did even when we lifted up the trunk, I did that plastic piece there. All the pieces that come along the trunk and the back. The whole thing was done, and you can see this picture. I did take a picture of the dash right here. Right there. So, of course, I got the mini steering wheel on it too. There's the oil gauge I put in up there. You can see the word Vega there barely. So it's all diamond tough there in the glove box. There's a fire extinguisher there just in case. That, if I look closely, that is a friggin' 8-track stereo. Yeah. Later on I ended up getting a cassette deck, but and I tucked it under there or something. But that, yeah, that's pretty cool. That diamond tough. You have to basically, back in those days, I don't think we had any spray glue stuff. We had to like dip the brush and put it on. You put it on the dash, and then you put some on the back of the material, and then you'd have to work it in, shape it, cut lines to get it to shape and everything like that. I had to take the whole dash off to do it properly. I had to rip the whole dash off it and then do the dash and then set it back in. Same with the door panels. Take the door panels right off it. Do it that way. And it turned out good. It really, really changed the look of the car inside. And it didn't get that hot in summer. It didn't seem to anyway. But it was cool. But that's pretty cool. That's oh, I just want to show you guys if you want a good car magazine, and you want to support local as in Canada. That's all I'm gonna buy from now on. I'm not gonna buy any American magazines. Nah, not gonna do it. Actually, I don't see that many out there anymore. There's a few, but what I'm gonna buy now, and I probably bought 10 of them, 10 or 12 since 2022. I didn't know about them until Barb actually picked up one for me, and I thought, gee, I didn't know this magazine even existed. So it's this one here, and it's got that Pontiac Catalina on it there too. That's where I got that picture of it. But yeah, it's called Canadian Hot Rods, and it's based out of BC. It's all based out of BC, and so you're going to see lots of not local. Well, you might see cars that were in the Moncton show, or you're going to see cars that people built up. Look at this. Look at what this guy did. He's got the whole body will tilt up. The whole body tilts up, and the whole front end comes off like that. Super lightweight. You would never know by looking at it. Pretty sharp. So yeah, you want to support local, and they sell these down at the Atlantic Superstore. Normally they're down there. I might have seen them at Chapters, maybe a few times. I might have seen them down there. But yeah, you can pick them up, or if you want, you can actually subscribe. There's a way to subscribe to it if you want, and they just mail it right to your house or whatever. But I hope you're enjoying yourself, and on this Friday night. I don't even want to think what's coming on the weekend later, but we'll all have to deal with it when it does hit us here. But for now, just try to forget about that crap and carry on with some good thoughts, Guinness, delicious. Okay, I should wrap up because I'd like to get this up for you guys by 9 o'clock. It's by the time I get it sorted, and post it, and all that. Sometimes you get delays. I like to get it up by 9. So, like I always say, guys, each and every time I say it anyway, but I'd like each and every one of you to stay safe out there. You know what I mean. Thunder Road.